go live. Treat yourself accordingly. We are live.
Hello.
Hello, Catherine. We got you loud and clear. Get a little echo in the background. Be advised we are live via YouTube and Facebook.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Good. That's when my glasses fog up. If my glasses fog up, it's gonna be like.
Jamie, are you also sharing on Facebook, or do I need to do that? You're muted.
I'll do that.
Thank you.
We got a lot more media on there. Still use one. Well, invited every time. It's first.
Hey, Carl, before we get started, if you don't care, please make sure your computer's turned all the way down so it don't pick up feedback over your phone. You may have already done that, but if not, please make sure your speakers on your computer's turned all the way down. That's just the danger we have. Yeah, you're good there. It's just the danger we have with multiple devices.
I was just thinking that.
Judge, I have 9 o'clock. Everyone's present and accounted for, I do believe, sir. We are live.
Okay, this is November the 17th, 2020 video teleconference meeting in accordance with KRS 61823, KRS 61836, Executive Order 2020-243, Attorney General 20-05, 2020 Senate Bill 150, and March 31st, 2020 Attorney General advisory due to COVID-19 and declared local state emergency. So I'd like to call this meeting to order. And Madam Clerk, you call the roll, please.
Jeff Botts.
Here.
Brent Riddle.
Here.
Carl Dickerson. Here. Tim Coomer.
Here.
Mark Bowman.
Here.
Kenneth Sarton.
Here.
Billy Houchins.
Here.
Michael Hale.
Here, thank you very much. In adoption of today's orders, I need to add the first reading of ordinance 651, which is budget amendment 3. If we add that, I'll entertain a motion to accept today's orders.
Make that motion.
Houchins,
Second.
Botts, roll call vote, please.
Squire Riddle.
Yes.
Squire Dickerson.
Yes.
Squire Coomer.
Yes.
Squire Bowman.
Yes.
Squire Sarton.
Yes.
Squire Houchins.
Yes.
Squire Botts.
Yes.
Keith Hale.
Yes, thank you very much. Today's invocation will be given by Magistrate Kenneth Sarton.
Let us pray. Our Father in heaven, we're thankful this day and its many blessings. We're thankful for this beautiful weather that we're being allowed to enjoy this time of year. As we meet this morning to discuss the problems, needs of our county, We're thankful that we can do that, and we've been elected by the officials to do such a job. Go with us through this meeting, help us to make the right decisions. Go with us throughout our lives. In Christ's name, amen.
Amen. What did we have set up for the pledge, Jenny and Tracy? Anything?
The flag behind you, sir.
Allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America.
Republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible.
Justice
for all. Okay, I'd like to welcome everyone that's on Zoom, Facebook Live. Appreciate you tuning in if you're new. Obviously, if you have any questions about the meeting, you can call the office 651-3338, and we will try to get that information to you. So I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of October the 20th and October the 30th, 2020.
So moved.
Bowman, second Master Coomer. Any changes, corrections, deletions, subtractions, additions? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Squire Dickerson,
Yes.
Squire Coomer,
Yes.
Squire Bowman,
Yes.
Squire Sarton,
Yes,
Squire Houchins,
Yes.
Squire Botts,
Yes.
Squire Riddle,
Yes.
Judge Hale.
Yes, thank you very much. Announcements, magistrates, do you have anything in your prospective districts that you would like to announce? Okay, one announcement I will make right now is currently the building next to the county attorney building is being demoed as we speak. Maxie Murray is in charge of that. He's actually down there now with one of our road department folks. So if you want to maybe drive by or something like that and check that out, he'll be there most of the day. So just want to let you know that that project is moving forward right now. Okay, we'll move on into reports. Under my report, I'd like to entertain a motion to authorize a purchase order to purchase a PathGuard dry fogging system. And this is a COVID-19 reimbursable expense.
So moved.
Grant, Master Riddle, second by Master Bowman. That price on that is $4,260. Currently, we're paying ServPro $100 a day to disinfect. So we feel like that this thing will pay for itself pretty quick, but also it is reimbursable through COVID. Any other questions?
Judge, does that do the whole building? Is that something they go around and spray, or is it just a?
It can, yes. Any other questions? Roll call vote, please.
Squire Coomer,
Yes.
Squire Bowman,
Yes.
Squire Sarton,
Yes.
Squire Houchins,
Yes.
Squire Botts,
Yes.
Squire Riddle,
Yes.
Squire Dickerson,
Yes.
Judge Hale.
Yes, thank you very much. Okay, we'll move into committee reports. The Administrative and Budget Committee met with the Jail Committee. I'll turn it over to Chairman Botts.
Yes, thank you all. And I appreciate the committee, my committee, and Kenneth Sarton's committee meeting with us. That was October the 29th. We had a real good meeting that morning with some of the department heads. So I'm going to just go down line item by line item. Kenneth, you're on here also. Do you want me to just lead this, or do you have anything you need to say before I start
go
going
right
down?
ahead. I may put in something at the end.
All right. Well, thank you. All right. So we're going to go first line item is the sheriff. We discussed the purchase order that particular day, and we called a special meeting 10/30/20, and we got a PO for the two used vehicles for the sheriff. So that got passed 10/30. So I'm going to go on down to the next line item, the pay raises recommendation. Like I said, our committee was there, and the jail committee was present in the presentation of the sheriff, and the pay raises that he reckoned. Each master, you all let me know if you don't have that in front of you all. Do you all see that in front of you? The recommendation there on the sheriff, and then have you seen his budget numbers for the first 3 months? Making sure each one of you all see all that in front of you so we can go ahead on.
Yes, I saw it.
All right, so the sheriff proposed at that meeting, and it came out of our committee, a 3% increase. If you all remember, about 3 months ago, our committee, the administrative committee, said we would be willing to, I think we give like a date of October the 15th, if any of the department heads wanted to present any kind of pay raises, that we would be in consideration of just listening in and seeing how the budget's running. So we did have that meeting again, October 29th. Sheriff presented a 3% increase. If you look down on the line items, magistrates, you know, he's doing really, really good on his budget. Our committee and the jail, we all were there, and we voted in to do that 3%. So what I need to do this morning, I'm making a motion that for the 3% increase that he asked for, I've got that as a motion.
I'll second that, Jay.
Mark Bowman seconds it. All in favor?
Whoa. I'd like to
Well,
address
well,
that, Mr. Commissioner, Squire Bots.
Yeah,
Yes.
hold on just a minute, Carl. So we have a motion on the table, and we have a second. Okay, Manager Dickerson, you got some questions?
Yes, ever since I've been in fiscal court, everybody always comes to us and asks to determine how much raise we need to give their employees. And I've always been of the opinion that it's not our call, that if we give them 3% across the board for their employees, that they can do with it whatever they want. If they want to give 1.5 and 1.2 or 1.4 and 1.6, that's fine, as long as they stay within the budget. So my intention is to vote no on all these pay recommendations, because it's not our call. It's the people that run each individual department's call. It's not ours. So I just want to let you know how I feel about it, because I've done this for 20 years. I've always said the same thing, or 18 years. I've always said the same thing. So I just want to make y'all aware of my feelings on it. Thank you.
Carl, let me answer. I understand what you're saying, but the judge at the beginning of the COVID announced to the court and all the department heads that there will not be any increases unless otherwise from the court. So they're not allowed to do.
I thought we'd reversed that already, Squire Box.
Did we,
Judge?
Judge?
The judge gave raises to somebody way back in his department, and I had not a problem with that. But did that not happen back 2 or 3 months ago?
Yeah, and that went through the administrative committee.
Okay. Well, I'm just gonna vote. I mean, it'll pass, but I just want to show my feelings on it.
My question is, I thought that we had decided earlier in the year, this is just my thoughts, I'm for raises for everyone. But I thought our concern was revenue for people being able to pay their property taxes this year. So I just want to tell everybody up front, in every department, I'm for raises, but I'm going to vote no on any raise for anyone until we see what the revenue of our property taxes, how the returns are coming in, because I thought we decided that earlier in the year. It's not, I want everybody to know it's not against anybody. I want everybody to have a raise. But until we see, I don't know, if we can tell anything about how the taxes are coming in so far, because it's only been a couple of weeks, but I just want to know, everybody know up front that I will vote no on any pay raises until we see that revenue. And I hope everyone
I
understands.
remember that conversation, Tim. I can't remember if we took action and made a motion on that or not, but I do remember us having that conversation about not giving out any raises until the property taxes was in, because we was afraid that some people were not going to be able to pay their property taxes in a timely manner and might have to get an extension of some type or something. So I guess my question is did we make a motion that or was that just general conversation?
No, you're both correct. That's general conversation. There was no motion made on that. And if you look at these requests, yes, Magistrate Dickerson, you're right about my office staff. And then when Chairman Botts asked for proposals for the rest of them, I didn't want my coworkers to be left out, so I gave proposals. And that's
Hell, I have not a problem with that. All I have a problem with is you can do as you please, but and each department head does as they please. We shouldn't I don't want to try to micromanage your office, is I guess what I'm trying to say.
No, and I'm not saying that you are at all. I'm just saying that Magistrate Botts requested this, and I didn't want to leave my coworkers out, so I presented this. But on the other side of that, to answer Magistrate Coomer's questions and a comment Magistrate Riddle made, I did talk to Sherry Hammer yesterday. Taxes are coming in slow, very slow. Nothing's been received from banks yet. So that is sort of concerning. I know we're just halfway into the first month, but
I'm just curious, Jenny, do you have a total for all raises requested for this upcoming year and with Fringe?
I have
All
them broken
departments?
up separately, but I don't have a running total of all of them. I could get that.
you should have that on your Google Docs.
Right. I don't have a total. I totaled some up, and I come up just glancing at it over $70,000 of not counting the jail.
And so the other side of this, I want to say is, yes, I appreciate you allowing department heads / elected officials to give those raises as needed. But I'm also relying on you 7 to hold me accountable for my budget. Okay? Because I manage several departments, but if my budget ever gets over, you better be calling my hand on it. Okay? Because that's why you was elected, to call my hand to say you're overspending. And that goes for anybody that's elected and manages a budget. We were elected to have fiscal management over these budgets, myself included.
And like I said, I want everyone to understand I'm not against the raises. I'm just for delaying it until see the outcome of the property taxes.
Well, with some, I see what you're saying, Tim, but we gave some raises already. So, I don't know if that's going to be fair. It's raise time, and I feel like the property taxes are going to come in, and I know that we've created there's been a whole lot of new property created this year, a lot, and our property taxes are going to be good, I believe. It's just my opinion. You got to take in consideration too that everybody did get a $1,200 stimulus check, or most people did that. So, I feel like our property taxes are going to come in. I think it is raise time, and I have a little different opinion on it than Mr. Dickerson does. I feel like that everybody should get some type of cost of living raise. whether it be 1%, 2%, 3%, that everybody that works for this county should get some type of cost of living raise. And then it should be up to the department heads to evaluate their employees. And if they've got an employee that is overperforming and shows a lot of ambition and wants to move up or wants to take on more responsibility, then that person needs to be rewarded with more than the cost of living raise. That's the way we do it in the private sector, and it's always worked. But that's my opinion on it.
Well, my thoughts are this. Of course, the fiscal year starts in July the 1st and runs through June the 30th. The department heads have had these budgets to work with since then. And so if they're managing well and their budget can support that a raise for their employees, I'm good with that. But if their budget does not support, I can't support that because they have to manage. You know, they knew back on July the 1st how much money they had to work from within. And if they've been managing well and their budget can support that, I'm fine with giving them a raise.
It sounds good to me, what he's saying.
Well, we've had the committee meeting. You all asked us to keep up quarterly, even monthly. We've actually been looking at numbers and we're at the first quarter. The sheriff is under about $210,000. I mean, he's doing a great job. And
Those numbers are wrong, Jeff. No. That's the wrong figures.
What is it?
He's under, but it's not 210. That's the road department.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's the road department. Well, what is that number that he's? Yeah, I've got the road department. Well, anyway, we got the motion, and I guess, Judge, we'll have a vote for it. Call for a vote.
Okay, vote's been called for. We do have a motion. Now, this is only for the sheriff's department for a 3% only. Okay, no other departments being considered here.
And before we go to vote on this, this is the recommended pay raise that Kent, he recommended 3%, the department head did.
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
To some of the comments earlier, that will be up to Kent as how he disperses that.
Yeah. Yes, I understand that. Question's been called for. So we have to vote. Roll call vote, please.
Squire Bowman,
Yes.
Squire Sarton,
Yes.
Squire Houchins,
Yes.
Squire Botts,
Yes.
Squire Riddle,
Yes.
Squire Dickerson,
No.
Coomer,
No.
Judge Hale.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Sheriff's Department passes. Next.
Okay, I'm gonna go on down to the next line item on our committee. We had the coroner in, and he, Tim, you're hearing us. Thank you for meeting us that day. He's down at deputy. He's presented that he's looking for a deputy. Let me know, Tim, if I'm correct. You are still looking for a deputy. You didn't ask for anything. You talked about, you're looking at how some other counties are doing. Can you emphasize on that just real quick to the court, what you're doing in your department?
Yes, sir. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yes. We're looking at the county court office implementing an indigent program for potential burial or cremation, setting set aside every year some funds for that. This is getting to be more and more an ongoing issue, and I just foresee it actually getting worse. People not expecting or preparing for this this part of their end of their life, I guess you could say. And I've got a program from Hardin County. Dr. Lee, the coroner in Hardin County, they have a very excellent program. We're going to look into that, see if it's something that we can tailor for Barren County and get this set up for the next fiscal year. It's not anything we're going to do this year. We'll look forward to it July 1 of the next fiscal year, but I think it's something that we can do. There's very strict guidelines for anyone to qualify to use these funds, because we absolutely, the county does not want to get into the business of burying or cremating individuals. And like I said, there's very strict guidelines. We'll have this thing together by spring, something we can present for the next year's budget.
Thank you, Tim. So there's no action to be taken on that. So we're going to go down to the next line item under the jailer, and we appreciate Aaron and his staff coming in on that joint committee. They had a great presentation of how they're going to start focusing on the budget. First quarter, you all have the numbers masters in front of you. There really wasn't, he had recommended you all have the papers in front of you, his proposal on his pay increases, and it didn't come out of that committee, any kind of pay recommendation. So I needed to talk with the rest of the fiscal court that there wasn't no recommendation out of both joint committees. Did anyone, do they have a recommendation, any of the other court members, before we go on to the next line item, because there was no action taken in the committee. But I want to be fair with if there's any court members that has any questions. I know everyone was there, but Tim was there, Carl and Trent wasn't there. Do y'all have any questions about that meeting and the presentation to our committees about why maybe anything didn't come out of the committee? Because usually we'll have some kind of recommendation, but we didn't have any pay recommendations at that meeting.
I watched the meeting on YouTube or Facebook, and I don't have any questions about it.
The only question I have, and I apologize, I've been having some more treatments. I said that earlier, but that's why I've been missing some things. But the only problem I have, the only question I have, to the jailer, what he presented to you, has some information how he's going to get his budget back on track.
It did, and it was a very good presentation. If he can go by the guidelines of what that presentation, it can be turned around and possibly things can be looked at. Maybe after the first of the year, we can just go quarterly by quarterly. And just to be fair, we thought with what we're supposed to do as a committee, we need to look and see if it can be turned around and the numbers can change on paper. Right now, the paper, we just can't justify as a committee to do any kind of pay raises there. So if there's not any other comments or discussion, I'm going to go down to the next line item. Okay, no action there on the jailer. County Judge Executive, Judge Hale was in that committee, and he presented, like I said, our committee about 3 months ago asked department heads to present any kind of pay raises they wanted to recommend to the committee. You all see them in front of your papers, and we're going to go down. He's over the road department right now, and his recommendation. Judge, we need to go them line item by line item, or just the ones that you're over on the recommendations on that.
We can do it either way. The sheet I presented to you, and an average, it was a 3% overall. What I would, and I guess this goes back to Magistrate Dickerson's statement about, hey, you figure it out. If you feel so-and-so needs this or so-and-so needs that because they're excelling in that, I totally agree with that. I do feel that some folks do come to work and they step up and they do more than what's asked of them, and they deserve more. I mean, that's how I was raised, and that's how I worked in my public job. So there is some areas here. The one thing I have figured out that we have operators, we have pretty darn good operators. We have more operators than we do equipment to operate, that's not good for us, because, you know, I really feel that that we've got a good group. Are we a little bit understaffed? Somewhat. We are somewhat understaffed. If you see that top line there on road supervisor, obviously our road supervisor retired. He had some accumulated vacation time. We had to pay that out. So that's why I'm letting this position ride till the first of the year to kind of recoup and build it back up. If I have to keep it till the end of the fiscal year, that's fine, just to help that department out. As you see, it's $210,000 under budget and the salary line item. And again, that's because we're shorthanded. We are saving the road supervisor position. We are saving operations manager's position. We don't have anyone there. So if the court's okay with this, I'd move forward with just making those adjustments as needed, you know, because, you know, folks are going to go somewhere else for more money, and they've got the skill to go somewhere for more money. So, and I know this has been a concern with most of you. We have to have that department with good operators, folks that show up for work. And you know, right now they're answering the call, and we're trying to answer that call as soon as that call comes in. So I take any questions as it relates to the road department. I'll be more than happy to try to answer.
I just
So Judge, this is Carl. Instead of, you're saying instead of the recommendations you put before the court, that you would just pay according to ability or service. Is that what you were saying?
Yes, sir.
I'm good with that. I'm good with that.
Okay.
I just wanted to say that's the first department I think we need to work on as far as giving raises. But I just want everybody to know that I'm going back to my stance on the property taxes, but I'm definitely think that's where we need to start at the road department, giving raises.
Okay.
Okay, Judge. So will we, I guess Carl's saying that he's just giving you the liberty. So does the 3% need to be voted on, or you're just going on and just doing that?
No, I don't think you'd need a vote for that.
Okay. So what about, okay, so we're talking about the road department. So the other line items of the department that you appointed on some of them, are we going to go line item on them, or we're going to let you be what you suggest to increase their salary, your appointees?
Magistrate Box, if you'll remember when I gave you that list, there was either 2 or 3 that I said, listen, you guys just figure it out. You've seen them work. You've seen what they do. They not only focus on their position, but they do other stuff as well. You know, I want you to learn the person doing the job and what they do and go above and beyond. And, you know, and that's why I kind of leaned on you all to set whatever you feel like that they need. It wasn't my recommendation. When you look at it, percentage wise, it's high, but it's only one person versus 8 to 10 people. So, I mean, I'm good with doing that also. Again, that's totally up to you all. I'll do whatever, you know, I want it to be fair. I do want it to be fair.
I guess, Court, since we're on this line item and the committees was there, I feel like I'll be like Carl, you know, Judge is elected to do his. I think he needs to be the one to really look at these and let him do it. Can I get some comments on that and just let him, he's appointed these, he sees them every day. We don't. And he knows what they deserve and maybe what increases they need.
My question, Judge, on the solid waste coordinator, it's someone that you're going to have to fill right later, and you're already proposing a raise for that position. Is that correct?
Yes, assistant. The assistant, yes, because.
It just says solid waste proposed. Okay, I see assistant below it.
Yeah, and just to elaborate on that, since I took over managing the road department, the assistant has stepped up to take those calls along with the sheriff's department. So, you know, I feel like that's worthy, you know, because she is taking on more responsibilities. But I don't have any plans of filling that position or asking for a salary for that position. And the reason why is because we have folks that are stepping up and saying, hey, I'll take on this responsibility or part of that responsibility, and we just make it work. I feel like within these positions, we shrunk government a little bit. We've done away with big government. We've kind of shrunk it a little bit. So, I mean, we're getting the call done. Whatever work needs to be done, I feel like it's being completed. But again, as we talk about these, I'm going to challenge you all to hold me accountable on these budgets. So when you look at these quarters budgets, you're holding me accountable also.
Okay, anybody else have any comments on this line item on the letting the judge just?
I think it's fine for me, my point of view. Let the judge take care of that.
Okay.
I agree. It's no different than any other department head. It's just that he's been having to fill in as for the road supervisor and then also solid waste coordinator. So therefore he would know the workers and know the ones that merit a raise.
All right. Well, Judge, we'll let you. We know you manage good, so we'll let you start looking and deciding how you want to do that. And we will go on down to the next line item. Drug Task Force. We had another meeting that was 20 with Ron. Just gonna let him talk just a minute on what he presented. He's down. Just tell him the reason where you're at, why you're needing this employee, because I think the city doesn't. Just you can clarify it better than me, Ron. Go ahead and speak.
Thank you, sir. A couple weeks ago, the city of Glasgow pulled their 2 detectives. They were said they were down a lot of people and needed them back. And when I talked to the chief, she said they would eventually get back in. It could be months, 6 months, a year. She wasn't sure right now, but she would only send one. When Glasgow and Cave City got back in, I had 2 positions paid by the county. I had one that left and we were fully staffed. So I forfeited that position back to the county. So now that they've pulled out, I've lost a third of my help detectives. And with the drug crimes, our caseload has increased from last year by 56%. Our drug seizures has increased by, I think it was 43% from last year. So I would like to fill that position back again if possible and put it where we need it. I believe all the years together, our budget has been under. I rarely ever remember us ever going over budget. So if possible, I'd like to fill that position back.
Ron, did you say that position's already been approved by the county and in your budget?
It was until a couple years ago when I let it go.
Is it today?
I'm
Is it
sorry?
in your budget?
No, it's not. I need to bring it back if possible because we let it go. I did not know this was going to happen. So when I let that position go, then we never put it back into the budget.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
And Ron, that number you said was about a $54,000 range salary, correct?
Yes, sir. That's including fringe and an average of, I think, 5 hours overtime a week.
So some of us wasn't in back when this had happened. So it's been out of the your budget a couple years. Did you say? I mean,
I think it's 2 or 3 years, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
And Ron, it's because the city pulled a detective. That's why the city pulled it out.
2 of them, yes, sir.
They pulled 2,
Yes, sir.
and so you don't have any help from the city anymore. Is that correct?
At this time, no.
So, Judge, I'll ask you this question: did anyone talk to the mayor about funding this position for the county?
Yeah, I've had conversations with the mayor. They decided to go a different direction. And Ron knows this as well. But right now they have no intentions of getting back in.
So they pulled out of the drug task force again.
Not
Is that
officially.
right?
Right. Not officially.
But they have, but not officially.
Correct.
So I guess one more question I want to ask, and I'm gonna hush. Does the fiscal court have if they want to come back in, does the fiscal court, can they tell them no?
The
city wants to come back in.
I don't know that the physical court can, but the board of directors for the drug task force can.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Is there a reason why they pulled? What was the reason again? Why they pulled out?
The reason is manpower.
Okay. So is there a possibility that we could do some kind of a joint employee with the city, kind of like what we do with the building inspector? Is that possible?
I don't know.
Like that'd be a conversation.
So Ron, what I understand from all this is they don't have manpower at the police department, and they evidently can't hire any, but they want us to hire more for the drug task force. Is that pretty much the way it is?
Well, they're not asking.
I understand why you need extra help, but I was there when the city pulled out the first time in the Cave City, and then they all wanted to get back in. So anyway, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Judge, do we need to maybe have a meeting with the mayor and talk about anything before we make any decision? If we can come up with some kind of plan and find out why they had to pull out, or what do we need to do here and not rush into anything?
I would encourage you all to have those conversations with the mayor, police chief, make sure Ron's with you, to find out more. And I challenge any of you masters to do that.
Well, guys, I'm speaking again. I say we let Ron get his man, and we'll run the drug task force like it's been done before. This is something that I'll make a motion and we let Ron hire a replacement. You're talking about pay raises, but my understanding is he wants a man, so or another person doesn't have to be a man, another position. So
yes.
I make a motion and we give him that money to fill that position.
I'll second it.
So we have a motion, Master Dickerson, second by Master Houchins. So that salary again, Ron, what is that?
54,519.
This is a unbudgeted salary.
Yes.
So I want everyone to be clear about that.
Understood, Judge, but the drug task force is very important to this community. And by the city pulling out, it's sort of put him behind the 8 ball the way I see it. Is that pretty much how the rest of y'all see it?
Sure. I'm just clarifying that. That's all I'm doing.
Well, my question is, and I agree with what you're saying, Carl, and no doubt, Mr. Lafferty needs that person. He gave us on the caseload 56% increase, drug seizures up 43%. No doubt he needs that person. But how can we overcome the 54,000? Where's that money coming from if it's unbudgeted, which it is?
Well, from what I've seen from most of the budget, we have a surplus. If we're going to spend $54,000 on something, I would say it's well spent making sure our children don't get that poison or anybody get that poison that's out there. So I'm a conservative, but $54,000 is money well spent if you keep one child out of drug rehab, one child out of jail, because you pay for it one way or the other, in my opinion.
I'm not opposed to it, and don't get me wrong, but until I just like to have a little clarity, and maybe I don't want to step out of line and call the mayor and start talking to him about it, but I think it would be worthwhile to have. Today, I won't support it until I have some clarity, and I just don't have that right now. And I feel like that it would be worthwhile for Ron to meet with the mayor and see if we could come up with some type of compromise. And if there is no compromise, then I would support it. But right now, I wouldn't support it.
So we have a motion, we have a second. Is there any other questions or comments? So here's what my challenge to you, Masters. We're creating a position or a salary, and Master Bowman pointed it out. If you vote for this, I expect you to tell me where we're going to find it. Not just say, let this office figure it out. We've got to find it in the budget. We got to make sure the money's going to be there. Because time and time again, we make the motions in the second, and then we have to figure it out. And figuring it out usually makes somebody mad. So I'm just challenging you. Hey, where's it going to come from, Master Bowman? You've asked a good question.
Well, without having this budget addiction again, without having the budget in front of me, right now we're voting to give 3 and 4, 5% raises from the county. And once again, I don't mean to repeat myself, but we'll have to have priorities. We'll have to take some from somewhere and give to him because, like I say, it's a very important position as far as I'm concerned. But put it before a vote. And,
yeah, agree. And my defense on the raises that's been proposed here, mine's within my budget, within the budget.
That.
So
I understand that. Well, I for one would take a cut. I for one would take a cut my salary to help fund it. But if everyone else would, but I don't think that'll happen.
Well, Carl, I totally agree with you. I think this is no doubt, Mr. Lafferty's in a tough spot here. And this is something needed for our community. But at this point, it's unbudgeted. Now, the pay raises that we agreed to so far have all been within that department's budget.
Well, I'll ask the treasurer. Treasurer, are we running a surplus as we speak?
Can you repeat that question?
Are we running a surplus?
On what department are you talking about?
I'm talking about the budget as a whole.
Well, in certain departments, yes. Certain
Okay, well,
departments, no.
if you add the departments who run a surplus and subtract from the ones that we're not running one, that tells us we're running a budget
Well,
surplus.
I haven't done those figures, so I can't answer that question honestly. I mean, I can do it for you, but I have to get back with you on
Well,
that.
here's what I'll do. I'll withdraw my motion, and we'll table this until the next meeting and we'll have that information available. Is everybody good with that?
Yes.
Yes.
So, motion withdrawn.
Hey, Judge,
Is a
I would
second.
make this comment as a administrative, me and Mark and Billy are on that, and this has got to do with a hiree. I would be glad if however we could get a meeting with Ron and whoever, the police chief or whoever, that we can just sit down and talk so we can have more questions answered to the court the next meeting. Maybe we can come up with some kind of, just have a little bit more clarity of what's going on here and why.
Sure.
And I'd be
That'd be
glad
That'd be
do
great. That'd be great.
I just don't know if you all in your all's office can get with the mayor and I'll be glad to have a committee meeting with Ron and the mayor or whoever wants to represent Ron. Just however, let's get this together so it can happen for you.
Good. Thank you.
And Magistrate Box would put out that notice for any other magistrate that wants to participate in that.
Sure.
Absolutely.
I just wanted to get something started. Anybody's welcome, but we got to go somewhere. And I feel like I'll be glad to tackle on and get more information for everybody if you all want that to happen, so we can get a little more answers for everybody and make this happen immediately and get an answer for the next meeting for Ron, one way or another, and a little bit more clarity instead of jumping the gun maybe. And certainly it's important, so we need to do that within this month.
Ron, do you have someone in mind for the position?
I've got 3 different people I'm considering, yes.
Okay.
Hold on, Magistrate Houchins, are you withdrawing your second?
Yes, I'll withdraw.
Okay, all right.
All right, well, we will set up a committee meeting. Ron, if you want to help get that started and help with me, and I'll stay in tune with you and all the other masters. You'll be looking out for, we'll have a Zoom meeting or whatever it takes to have that happen, just to get a little more clarity. Okay, thank you. All
One
right.
other question.
Yes.
Do you know who would be on that committee at the city council?
I'm sorry. I didn't hear you.
Do you know who would be on that committee at the city council that decided to pull out? You know which committee that is?
I do not. Like I said, the city of Glasgow has not notified me that they're withdrawing. From what I was told is that they're pulling their detectives out because they're shorthanded. No one has officially told me that they're pulling out.
Well, the judge said something a little different there. Have you talked directly to the mayor, Mr. Hale?
Sorry, who's the question for?
It's for Judge Hale. Have you talked directly to the mayor about this issue?
I have.
Okay, I think we can get all this figured out in this committee meeting whenever we get a meeting. Any other questions, we'll go to the next line item. If not, we're gonna move down to the county clerk, pay raises recommendation. I had Elena was there at the meeting and she had her recommendation, and gals, you all have the paper in front of you on her recommendation. We as a committee, again, she was, if you see on the paper, her percentage was a little bit more than committee felt like that we could do at that time. Certainly you all can override us as a committee, but our recommendation was more in the 3% range by looking at her budget and kind of where she is right now. She's doing a great job. We praise her for keeping the office open and all extra work they're having to do. But as far as looking at the budget and where we are now, we were looking at more of a 3% for her to give her employees. So the motion would be for me as the chairman is coming out of our committee, the motion would be a 3% increase for her to give her employees.
I second that.
We have a motion, we have a second. Questions? Roll call vote, please.
Scar Sarton,
Yes.
Scar Houchins,
Yes.
Scar Bots,
Yes.
Scar Riddle,
Yes.
Scar Dickerson,
No.
Scar Coomer,
No.
Scar Bowman,
Yes.
Judge Hale.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right. We'll go down to the next line item. The sheriff in that same committee meeting asked for a PO for training, and that PO was for $6,400 and $6,480, $480 for a PO for training. And I make a motion that we give him that PO or Jenny that PO to pay.
Motion. Second, Master Sarton, that is $6,480. Any questions? Call vote, please.
Scar Houchins,
Yes.
Scar Bots,
Yes.
Scar Riddle,
Yes.
Scar Dickerson,
Yes.
Scar Coomer,
Yes.
Scar Bowman,
Yes.
Scar Sarton,
Yes.
Judge Hale.
Yes.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Master. Go to Master Transportation Chairman, Mr. House.
I've got a couple of items. Farm View speed limit petition. I don't have anything on that so far. Kenneth, I don't know where the county attorney has anything, or Kenneth.
I don't know either.
If I could interject, is that okay, Judge Hale?
Sure.
Okay, on the Farm View petition, we have 7 signatures. Only 5 of those have been confirmed as property owners. The road being sought, the petition for the speed limit decreases. There are none, and so we don't yet meet the threshold for having the support of property owners, adjacent property owners, in order to do that. It would be my suggestion that probably the magistrate, I believe that's probably Mr. Sarton, contact the petitioner in order, and Mr. Sarton, if they're for to give to her, that would be fine as well. But we just don't have all the signatures that are required by statute in order to present the speed limit decrease.
Okay. Like to be no action on that, Billy.
No action on that. Okay. Next item we got is our contract mowing. The committee met and we decided on taking his $3,100 he had left on his bond. I'd like to make a motion on that. We've already took it all but $3,100.
We have a motion to take $3,100 of the bond left over.
Second.
Second, Master Sarton. Questions?
We need to authorize us to cash this.
I think we need to explain some reasons why.
What did you say? I didn't understand.
What is the reasoning mind taking the rest of the bond.
I don't think he's performed what he should have. He hadn't done, we've asked him to do several things and he hadn't done it. So he's had plenty of chances, and I don't know how he's finished up this last mowing, or if he's done or what. But he just hadn't he hadn't followed up the contract.
So I guess even when it comes to paying this third cycle, my opinion is, number one, he lied to the court. He blankly told a lie that he would do better because he was in breach of contract. He did not use the 4 mowers that's in the contract. He only used 2, and on this last cycle, he got all the way down to 1. So when it comes to right and wrong, he was in the wrong. And the right thing to do is to say, hey, you're not going to get away with this. He was in breach of contract, and he wasn't honest with us. And that's where I stand on it. I don't support paying him, but I do support taking the rest of his bond away from him.
We will have taken a total of 10,000 for his 3 mowing cycles if we do this.
9,300.
9,300.
You know, that's been a tough. The mowing's been a tough thing, you know, since I've been a magistrate. It seems like we've had issues with the contractors. We've had issues when the county mowed. And, you know, I just, I feel like that it's fine with me either way. I don't have a big issue with it, with either taking his money or paying him his full amount and telling him goodbye, because we're not going to use him next year. He did do a decent job in my district. He didn't do a great job, but he didn't do a bad job either, because we had so much rain there early that, you know, the grass just came right back up and we still had a lot of complaints. But I guess the only thing I want to say, and I want to say it in a nice way, I'm not trying to be hateful or mean or anything like that, but I think that, you know, if we're going to continue, we're going to punish him for this money, and that's fine. I mean, if we're going to take his money away, I don't have a problem with that. But we need to hold ourselves, when we start mowing next year, we just need to look back. We need to hold ourselves to the exact same standards that we held the subcontractors to. And that's all I'll say about that.
Anything else? Okay, we have a motion and a second to take the rest of the $3,100 bond. Roll call vote, please.
Scarbots,
Yes.
Carl Riddle,
No.
Scar Dickerson,
Yes.
Scar Coomer,
No.
Scar Bowman,
Yes.
Scar Sarton,
Yes.
Scar Houchins,
Yes.
Judge Hale.
Yes.
Also, next, I'd like to make a motion to go ahead and give the office crew permission to deposit this check. Whatever it is, 9,300, you say?
That's correct.
I'd like to make that a motion.
I second it.
Motion second, questions?
Is that,
Go ahead.
is that the way we do it, or just deduct that from what we're going to pay him?
That's the check we have.
Yeah.
That was the check that he presented with his bid.
Right.
We have the cashier's check. We've been holding it since he submitted his bid.
It is a cashier's check. Okay.
Yes, sir.
That makes a difference.
So we've got the bill, Billy, for the.
Yeah, you want me to put it on the same one? Same motion?
No, roll call vote, I'm sorry.
Scar Riddle,
Yes.
Scar Dickerson,
Yes.
Scar Coomer,
No.
Scar Bowman,
Yes.
Scar Sarton,
Yes.
Scar Houchins,
Yes.
Scar Bots,
Yes.
Judge Hale.
Yes.
The last thing is, I'd like to make a motion to pay him his check, which is $61,597 for his last mowing when he has finished it. I guess he's done with that, but I'm not sure.
We have a motion.
Second.
Second by Master Coomer. Any other questions?
Yes. How many days did it take on this last cycle for him to mow? He's allowed 30.
I bring Susan in on that. We talked about that. What was that number, Susan?
Out of 46 days, he mowed 29 and a half work days and 5 weekends with 3 tractors at the most.
So he actually mowed 29 and a half days.
Plus the 5 Saturdays and Sundays. So actually in total altogether, 34 and a half, but 29 and a half working days out of 46.
So he actually was over the 30 days again, right? In total, with 34.5, right?
Yeah, in total, yeah.
And what's that amount per day?
I believe on the contract, it's $1,000 a day, if I'm not mistaken. I don't have the contract in front of me though.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Motion to pay, and we have a second. Roll call vote, please.
Squire Dickerson,
Yes.
Squire Coomer,
Yes.
Squire Bowman,
Yes.
Squire Sarton,
Yes.
Squire Houchins,
Yes.
Squire Botts,
Yes.
Squire Riddle,
Yes.
Judge Hale.
No. Okay.
That's all I got, Jim.
Okay, thank you. Okay, the rest of old business is road discontinuances. I'll refer to the county attorney.
Judge, as we discussed last time, I guess I'm not certain what it is that you want as far as the road discontinuances. We discussed that at the last meeting, and statute that dictates this is 178, KRS 178, section 70. It says that a county road can be discontinued. Notice must be published. I'm not sure if that's been done with the road in question. The notice, there also must be 3 notices placed in prominent and visible public places within 1 mile of the road. And then after these notices are posted, fiscal court shall appoint 2 viewers who have no vested interest in this property, or in the road, I should say. And together with the county road engineer, they shall submit a report in writing to fiscal court. And once that report is submitted to the court, then a public hearing can take place and fiscal court may vote to discontinue the road.
I think also some of the questions was creating a checklist. And that checklist is, and I think Master Bowman may have a little more he would like to add on that, but just when we go out to look at a road, steps that need to be taken, we need to create some type of document to say this road meets this criteria, it does not meet this criteria. That way we're not just, this road may be different from that one, but we're actually following that list, that checklist.
Right. Right. I just think a checklist I know it would help me. I've been through this in times past, but I think if we all have a standardized checklist to work by, especially this time since we're looking at several different roads, and if we're all doing it the same, if we're all consistent in the way we're doing it, I think that would be a great help.
Well, the checklist as far as the procedure is simply what I've just told you. As far as a checklist as to whether or not it meets approval to be discontinued, the statute is kind of vague on that and simply says that the report in writing should just explain any inconvenience that would result from the discontinuance. So that's going to be property specific. But as far as the checklist is, as far as procedure goes, I can do that.
Okay.
The statute only says that it may be discontinued if after the report is made in writing as to whether or not any inconvenience would exist due to a discontinuance of the road. And so I don't know that there's going to be a specific checklist that you're going to be able to utilize, a generic checklist for each road situation when each road will have its own special set of circumstances.
Right. Well, what I was thinking was more, just as you read there from the statute. Are you still there?
Yes, sir. I'm still here.
Oh, looks like I lost everybody. But what I was had in mind was, from the statute that you read there, there are several things that are mentioned within that statute.
Oh, sure. As far as the procedure, yes, that's not a problem.
Okay.
Magistrate
Okay.
Bowman, I'll get that to you.
Right. Okay. I appreciate that. And I do agree with you. Every road is going to be somewhat different.
Yes. And with a statute that doesn't really prescribe what any specific checklist
Right.
in determining whether or not it's a proper road to discontinue, it really is just it just says based on any inconvenience that would result from the discontinuance.
Right. Correct.
Just before we get off this matter, I want to let the court know that I have finally found someone to give us an appraisal on the tracts of land that we need before we can close Stallion Way. I was looking to get estimates on someone giving us an estimate on giving us appraisals, and the person I have finally contacted is agreed to do this at no cost for the county. I don't know, Judge or Sherry, if I need to make a motion that we use this person. Is that something that needs to go through?
Yeah, we'll have to take action if it relates to county property. So yes, you will have to make a motion for sure.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion that we use Blue Roof Appraisals.
You'll have to repeat that, sorry.
Blue Roof Appraisal.
Okay. Okay, is there a second?
Several different ones. They were all too busy, didn't answer their phone, and this is the first one I got any response from.
I second that.
Questions?
County certified. I don't know. They have to be certified appraisals.
Master Coomer, can you make sure that they are a certified appraisal company before they perform this task?
Yes. I mean, I'm sure they are, but I will. I need to add that to my motion.
I probably so. And then when you get that information, just forward that on to Sherry.
Okay.
So we can put that part of the minutes.
Requote my motion. I make a motion that we use Blue Roof Appraisals to appraise the land on Stallion Way if they are a certified appraiser.
Okay. So he's clarified his motion. Is the second okay?
Second's okay.
Okay. Any other questions? Roll call vote, please.
Squire Coomer,
Yes.
Squire Bowman,
Yes.
Squire Sarton,
Yes.
Squire Houchins,
Yes.
Squire Botts,
Yes.
Squire Riddle,
Yes.
Squire Dickerson,
Yes.
Judge Hale.
Yes. Okay, reapportionment proceedings, county attorney.
Yes, Judge, that is governed by KRS 67 subsection 45. I have prepared a checklist for this and emailed it to Sherry, and she will get that out to the magistrates. In a nutshell, I will briefly go through that checklist for you all. The boundaries shall be drawn so that districts are compact, contiguous, and shall have a population that is equal or nearly equal as reasonably possible. Fiscal court shall initiate reapportionment proceedings in May of the first year following the census. So in our case, that's May 2021. And to initiate those reapportionment proceedings, fiscal court shall, 1, publish notice of the planned reapportionment, and 2, appoint 3 commissioners who are competent citizens, 21 years age or older, and who reside in different districts. The county clerk will also serve as a non-voting commissioner. So together with the 4 of them, there shall be outlining of the boundaries of the districts that should be presented in writing to the court, and not just the boundaries that's presented to the court, but in that written report should also outline what the population in each district is. That report should be received with the court within 60 days of the appointment of the commissioners, and then within 60 days of receipt of the written report, fiscal court shall act on that by holding a public meeting and then either adopting or amending the report. I'll also note that the commissioners that are appointed, the 3 commissioners appointed by fiscal court, will receive compensation. That amount is set by fiscal court and is paid out of the county treasury.
Yes, County Attorney Thomas, one quick question. If we were to vote to reduce the number of magistrates, when would we need to do that? In May?
That would be done through the reapportionment. The reapportionment has to be when you outline the boundaries. It's no less than 3 districts and no more than 8.
Okay, so if we wanted to reduce it to 6, 5, or 4, then we would do that before at the time we started the apportionment proceedings. Is that correct?
That's my understanding, is that the reapportionment would be the first, essentially would effectuate that. Yes.
Yes. Okay. So we would have to know, the reinforcement committee would have to know the number of districts before they could start the proceedings. That's correct, is it not?
Yes, before they could propose the boundary lines. Yes.
So the fiscal court would have to make that decision before the time that they appointed the group, the commissioners. That's also correct, is it not?
Yes, I think that would be the most efficient way.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. I will also say it doesn't, fiscal court, if at any time finds that the districts are not compact, contiguous, and comparable in population, then you can initiate reapportionment proceedings at any time. It doesn't have to be May following the year of the census. However, we are required to go through the reapportionment procedure in May following the year of the census.
Thank you.
So how much is all this gonna cost?
We really don't know, until we get census figures, and obviously we'd have to, when we go to do the new budget, we'll have to create some type of line item for some type of cost on this, but that's a very good question. And according to our fiscal court clerk, it takes a lot of time.
So I expect these people that we appoint will be paid by the hour, hourly, not salary.
I'm thinking the last time, 10 years ago, I think we set a certain amount that they were paid and went from there. But that's to the best of my recollection, Scar Coomer. I'd have to look to be sure.
Do you know, Sherry, is there a way to find out how much it costs then?
Yeah, like I said, that was 10 years ago. So give us a little bit of time to get into the archives. I'll be glad to look and see.
Thank you.
As far as the payment for the commissioners, the statute just says that it should be a reasonable amount paid and that fiscal court sets that amount.
Right, but there's other costs involved as well. I mean, there's,
Sure. I was just saying with regard to payment of the commissioners.
I think the commissioner's pay would probably be the least of the expense.
Anything else, County Attorney?
Judge, that's all unless anyone had any questions.
Any more questions for the County Attorney? Okay, we'll move on to new business and we'll approve the payment of claims as presented.
So moved. Second.
By Mr. Riddle, the motion, second by Mr. Couchins. Questions, discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Scar Bowman,
Yes.
Scar Sarton,
Yes.
Scar Houghton,
Yes.
Scar Botts,
Yes.
Scar Riddle,
Yes.
Scar Dickerson,
Yes.
Scar Coomer,
Yes.
Judge Hale.
Yes. Approved transfer of funds.
So moved.
That's by Master Coomer, second by Master Botts. Question?
Can you explain a little bit why that, the need or explain that a little bit? There was two departments involved in that.
Let me get 'em. You need me to explain why I'm transferring the money or needing to transfer the money?
Yes.
So for the jail fund, they need that money transferred to be back within their budget. We budgeted to give the jail fund $497,290 this fiscal year. That $60,000 would be part of that. If we transfer that $60,000, that would put us at a total of transfer to date $230,231 to the jail. So it's that $60,000 is within the budgeted amount to give to them. I just have to have permission to do it.
Okay. Is this paying for the debt on the jail?
The $60,000, you mean?
Yeah, you said a total of $497,200. That sounds to me like the debt payment on the jail.
No, I don't know I don't know what's included in that number, but I don't think that's
No.
part of the payment.
No, that's not the debt. That
Okay.
debt's paid all at once.
All right.
And as far as the rec department, that's just part of the money that they spent from the time that they were able to, you know, play ball, and they didn't have a whole lot of revenue because of COVID. And so that's just putting them back into their budget as well.
I guess the question is then when the COVID money, well, I'm sure there was things turned in for the rec department for COVID, and when that comes in, then that'll be replaced back to the general fund.
No, anything that comes in for COVID is paid out of the general fund to begin with.
Okay.
I mean, this just includes, you know, the payroll, utilities, I mean, just in general. Give me just a second. He just didn't have a whole lot of revenue this year because they were shut down for a long.
Okay.
Usually that department can generate more income than what they did.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Scar Sarton,
Yes.
Scar Houchins,
Yes.
Scar Botts,
Yes.
Scar Riddle,
Yes.
Scar Dickerson,
Yes.
Steve Hammer,
Yes.
Scar Bowman,
Yes.
Judge Hale.
Yes. Approved budget adjustment, let's see, with corrections on number 3, 4, and 5.
3 and 4.
Corrections on 3 and
3
4,
and 4 and 5 is the current.
Yes.
and I can explain that if needed.
Okay. And if you need that explained, the treasurer can explain that. Okay. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
A second.
Master Dickerson, questions? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Scar Houchins,
Yes.
Scar Botts,
Yes.
Scar Riddle,
Yes.
Scar Dickerson,
Yes.
Scar Coomer,
Yes.
Scar Bowman,
Yes.
Scar Sarton,
Yes.
Judge Hale.
Yes. Approved monthly financial statement, October the 20th, or October 2020, subject to audit.
So moved. Second.
Riddles, or actually it's Master Bowman, second Master Houchins. Questions? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Scar Botts,
Yes.
Scar Riddle,
Yes.
Scar Dickerson,
Yes.
Scar Coomer,
Yes.
Scar Bowman,
Yes.
Scar Sarton,
Yes.
Scar Houchins,
Yes.
Judge Hale.
Yes. Approved official settlement, October 2020, subject to audit, county attorney, county clerk, and the sheriff.
So moved.
Hoomer,
Second.
second Master Houchins, questions? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Scar Riddle,
Yes.
Scar Dickerson,
Yes.
Scar Coomer,
Yes.
Scar Bowman,
Yes.
Scar Sarton,
Yes.
Scar Houchins,
Yes.
Scar Botts,
Yes.
Judge Hale.
Yes. Personnel actions,
Motion.
Botts,
Second.
Second.
Houchins, questions? Roll call vote, please.
Scar Dickerson,
Yes.
Scar Coomer,
Yes.
Scar Bowman,
Yes.
Scar Sarton,
Yes.
Scar Houchins,
Yes.
Scar Botts,
Yes.
Scar Riddle,
Yes.
Judge Hale.
Yes. Appointments, the UK Extension Board, we appointed as a 3-year appointments. Terry Webb will be replacing Elaine Chenoweth, whose term expires January the 1st, 2021. And she's not eligible for reappointment. And then also Matt London, reappoint him there. It's effective January 1, 2021 and runs January 1, 2024.
So moved.
Motion.
Coomer, questions? None, roll call vote, please.
Squire Coomer,
Yes.
Squire Bowman,
Yes.
Squire Sarton,
Yes.
Squire Houchins,
Yes.
Squire Botts,
Yes.
Squire Riddle,
Yes.
Squire Dickerson,
Yes.
Judge Hale.
Yes, thank you. Economic Development Report.
Yes, Judge Hale, I've been out of sorts for the last 2 Thursdays and Fridays, so I didn't make the meeting, but I wanted to discuss something concerning economic development and the COVID pandemic we're having. Does the court think that we need to come up with some recommendations at a county level instead of taking everything from the state level? I look around and I see everybody's wearing masks, and I see people social distancing, and I see all these things going on, but it seems like the cases just get more and more and more. This is a virus, and we're not going to be able to hide from it. And I may get it and die tomorrow with it. I hope I don't, but I could. And, some of these draconian policies that are coming down, shutting everything down, I just don't know if any of the other counties are doing this or whether we need to make a statement on what we recommend. For instance, we recommend masks. We recommend social distancing. We recommend anybody over 65 years old stay at home as much as possible. Let's make some recommendations as a county, and not superseding the state by any stretch, but let's make some county recommendations and sort of going by those, and maybe some of these things that are coming down from wherever that just seem like they're mandating things, and I just wonder if that's something that we need to do. Any comments? Okay.
I would like to have, I'd like to have input from the rest of the magistrates. I will tell you that since Warren County come out with their statement, they started yesterday checking businesses and fining them if they do not have masks in place. That's a county level decision. That's on top of the recommendation from the state. I think we do need to make a statement. Yes, sir. Totally agree with you. And if I have your all support, I'd love to make that statement with you. And, it's been proven that mask stops the spread, and social distancing works, and washing your hands works. Yes, sir. Be more than happy to put something out with your all's blessing.
Well, Judge, in that statement, though, you have people that are outside in social distancing. I don't see any reason. There's going to be some conflicts as far as wearing masks. If you're a farmer out working, or if you're cutting timber, for instance, do you need to wear a mask? And that's a big no for me. We've got 80 employees, and we haven't had one person that works for us have COVID, thank the good Lord, and neither have any of their families that I've heard of. So it's because they're outside all the time. And as far as finding people, I'm against doing that. But we can make some recommendations and say, well, they don't have teeth if you don't find them. Well, I'm just not the type that want to find people for going about their business. We can make recommendations. We do live in America. It's a free country, and people should wear a mask just because they like their fellow man. And I know some don't, but that's just the way the world is. So that's fine with me. We'll put out a statement that we can all agree on. That's fine with me. I think that's a great idea. And
I agree with you. I don't feel like we should be fining anyone. But if you look at the governor's recommendation about being outside, as long as you're able to social distance outside, masks aren't required.
I
So,
understand that.
um,
What the Bowling Greens say, what did the Warren County thing say, Judge? I mean, does that have to indoor or is that everyone?
I think that's just indoor,
Yeah.
Okay.
the way I understand it.
Well, if you want to,
Put it on, I'll chime in just a bit, my opinion about this for what it's worth. Agree or disagree, there's a lot of controversy about the recommendations from our governor, and that's where the recommendations are coming from. They're not coming from wherever, they're coming from the governor's office. But it's my understanding, after doing a little research on it, the governor's office is relying on the CDC and the recommendations from the federal government. And, there is no golden path through this right now until we get a vaccine and a surefire cure. And I think we need to follow what the CDC says, what's handed down from the federal government to the state government. And we need to stay away from making recommendations, finding people, you got to use good common sense, and you need to wear a mask when you're around people. You need to social distance. You need to wash your hands, and all this other stuff. Who knows? I mean, the CDC keeps changing their mind, but we've got to have some kind of way of following something. But to add other recommendations, I think would be risky.
I think you got nothing. These eating places, I hadn't eat out much, 6 or 7 times, but they're going in these restaurants with no mask on, and it says you have to have a mask on. Well, the owner's going to have to, or the manager is going to have to stop it. I mean, he's the cause of it. And
the way I see that is if you feel uncomfortable in there, you probably shouldn't go.
Yeah, I didn't go. I said I was going through a drive-through in there. They're walking in with no mask on in several of these restaurants in town, and the managers let them get away with it. They don't want to run no business off. I understand that, but it's not fair to the other people. They go in out there. Some of them can go in and pick their order up and come out. They go in with no mask on. A lot of them
do. We can argue all day. All I'm saying is it's a lot easier if you get your local people that you know to say, guys, it would be nice for y'all to wear a mask, than it being mandated by the state. And I'm not for any mandate whatsoever. We had a vote the other day in our church for the consider having services. If I can't go worship my God on Sunday, then I shouldn't be able to go to a restaurant and eat. So I'm just saying, if we look at the CDC and we look at the things coming from Frankfurt, we don't have to agree with any mandates. I'm against mandating anything anyway. We live in the United States. We're supposed to be free here. But we need to also look at our fellow man, and if somebody's got a problem with me not wearing a mask, or if I got a problem with somebody not wearing a mask, it should be their responsibility to put it on, because it's their fellow man that's worried about it instead of themselves. Personally, I don't know if masks do any good or not. Everybody says they do. One group says they do and one group doesn't. But because my fellow man's worried about me wearing one, I try to wear one. So I guess if you have recommendations come from your local people, it just seems to me, as long as it's a recommendation, it's not a mandate, it just seems to me it might carry a bit more weight. That's just my opinion.
Well, any recommendations that comes from the state, we put it on our website. And when we do videos, we tell them these are recommendations straight from the governor's office. We don't add anything to them, and we don't make any of them up. So I feel like as long as we're following those recommendations and encouraging people, I think we're doing our due diligence.
Okay.
I agree with the judge there wholeheartedly. I think you're taking the right approach.
I guess the question, when some of this stuff starts being mandated, are we going to agree with the mandate? Are we going to, if that happens, are we going to, Barren County going to say, no, we're not mandating those things? We just need to think about it because it's going to hurt our economy if we start mandating things. I know.
Well, the way we understand it, myself, Tracy, Jamie, because we listen to those updates each day, this is advice of healthcare professionals, and I'm not a healthcare professional. And who am I to say if it works or not? I'm taking that advice of a healthcare professional, and I don't think that, in my opinion, if it's a healthcare professional, they're a whole lot smarter than me. I'm going to follow what they say.
Oh, and I agree 100%. But when they start saying it's mandated instead of just do it as freely, that's where I have a problem with it. But anyway, that's just me. Recommendations and mandates are two different things.
Okay.
That's all I've got.
Okay, this is what we added at the first. This is the first reading of ordinance 651, budget amendment 3. Entertain a motion. Remember, an amendment is a good thing.
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Bowman, questions? Roll call vote, please.
Squire Bowman,
Yes.
Squire Sarton,
Yes.
Squire Houchins,
Yes.
Squire Botts,
Yes.
Squire Riddle,
Yes.
Squire Dickerson,
Yes.
Squire Toomer,
Yes.
Judge Hale.
Yes, thank you very much. I entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Houchins,
Second.